Yes, so the open guard position, there's two typical positions you can encounter. One with the man seated, or one when he's flat on his back. So if Ryan's on his back, he could be playing from this position, or he could be playing seated upright. First thing to understand, first type of pass you can initiate from here, you must decide, am I going to fight him in this position, or am I going to put him on his ass and then fight him on his back? If we decide we take him in the first position, seated, the problems we encounter, number one, is his front leg, and number two is his front hand. Okay. He's going to ideally try and get the shin to my shin, and then wrap my front foot. Then I'm in trouble because he's got a single coming all the way out. So what I'm going to do is enter the space between his legs. That's the zone we want to be able to step into. If we can step into that zone, we're then going to worry about this hand. Shift the pace forward anyway. As I step in, my elbow wants to connect to his collarbone, cupping the back of his head, and looking to control that forehand. This is very important, guys. Okay. If he does get a single, okay, if I've got a strong control of the head and of the collarbone, I can still get away with the pass. I can also sometimes beat that hand. As I come in, I can look to feed an underhook and wedge between his arm and my leg. What we never want to do, though, is give him a clear, clean connection onto the leg. It's going to be a problem. Okay. So first thing, enter that pivotal zone, block the collarbone, connect the head, and look for this hand, guys. This hand is very important. If he has two hands, we're in proper shit. So control this hand for as long as you can. The next movement is to take your knee into his chest and drive him flat onto the mat. Now I've centered him. I've pinned him, and thereafter I'm going to cut an angle. Okay. Be very careful of this hand. If his hand is free, he can invert and go for leg attacks, it becomes a problem. So I keep control of his head and his arm. Once I'm here, I then cut a deep angle. I wedge my knee to the floor and I connect onto this particular wrist. If we are in the way we are now, with his hand around my hammy, but not very strong, it's just there, we can trap it by taking our bum and placing it on his elbow. We're then going to clear the foot. I then put the knee down and I pivot over his head. And I secure the top position. Look at that again. Make the entry, connect on the head, flatten the mat. Boom. Pin him. Once he's pinned, sidestep him. Okay. Free my knee and my leg as much as I can. One big step to the head and unwind to the side. If we get lucky and we're able to get an underhook, as I enter, boom, I immediately swim that underhook. I then flatten him, and now there's no chance for him to get the leg. I immediately drop my head and hit a typical knee slide. This hand is pinned with my body weight. Cut the angle, drop down, boom, and knee sliding through. You can also change the angle, so I don't have to pass here. I can also pass on the other side. So if I hit him up, boom, connect, smash, I'll then run this knee to the far hip. Come over the top, and then look to pass from that position. Okay, as long as you're fighting the one hand, guys, you're going to be able to pass sooner or later. You can't get up with just one arm, it needs two together. These guys, fight the hand, pin the body, and then decide which way you're going to run. Be sure you keep that hand in check. Don't give him free rein on holding this leg. Whether it's a wizard, whether it's an underhook, whether it's a solid frame, put a framework in place to just take away some of that juice on their arm. If your partner's laying flat on his back. Okay, so what we want to do is you've got a few options to pass from here, right? Take control of the legs, guys. Don't give him free rein to just move. Don't get so paranoid on holding on to a leg indefinitely. If he wants to move it and kick it, no problem. Be versatile in the position. One thing to understand, when you're attacking, make sure you've got a low center of gravity. Don't walk up all straight, because he'll sweep you, whether it's a sickle sweep, a stupid sweep, whatever sweep is going to hit. If I'm square, I can get swept quite easily. So we want to control, and we want to be low down. You've got your typical passes, guys, will get you around the legs. You've got your Toreanders, you've got your same side Toreanders or your tellers. Or you can enter, penetrate, pin and pass. That's the most practical way. Put pressure on the hips and the legs. Secure the upper half, the chest. Thereafter, look to pass. Simple way to do this, go into your direct knee shield or your knee slide position. So if I was here, I'm going to keep a nice solid foundation in front of Ryan. I'm going to enter. As I enter, I'm going to block the far hip. I'm going to look for this bottom hand. Okay. In this position, I'm going to try and secure high. My legs and my hips are putting pressure on his lower half. My torso is securing his upper half. This hand again, very pivotal, guys. I'm going to use a simple knee slide, push my hips through, reversing into the J-frame, and then look to pass. Alternatively, I can put him into a knee shield position. So I can play, boom, force the knee shield. So I'm not playing out of range the entire time. I actually engage into a position. And then I hit one of our many knee shield passes, whether it's a wrestler, running man, etc. So don't sit indefinitely out here, especially if he's more skilled in this department, he's going to catch you with something. Initiate an actual position you're familiar with. Position, boom, you slide through. Or a simple and common one with open guard plays, the knee shield, and look to pass from a familiar position. Don't sit out here for 2 hours doing fancy footwork. Okay, so guys, these are two very simple scenarios you'll encounter from the open guard position. One is when the guy's flat on his back, and the one when he's seated upright. Get familiar with both of those. Thank you.